call Stewart Stevenson. Contribution 401, but only 3 minutes, Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. Looking at the signatories to this motion and listening to the debate thus far, I suspect there will be a degree of unanimity at decision time. I think when we look at the processes of democracy, it's always useful to look at history and to look at experience elsewhere. The Icelandic president, for example, is elected for a single year and may not stand again for a further 10 years after one term of office, because he or she is a symbolic person. Australia, Prime Minister's questions in Australia, the question times out after 7 minutes whether the participants are finished or not. And in the United States, perhaps the one that touches most vividly on the issue before us, we see a vast range of propositions that may be associated with presidential and state elections. And I think it's worth having a look at the effect of that. It does mean that really, as here, you only have space in the media for debate about one essential election. And that will generally be the presidential election or the governor's election or an election for the Senate. The propositions, the referenda, as you might call them here, receive scant attention. So there is a very real danger when you draw together a series of unrelated decisions that the electorate have to make into one single event, one single visit to the polling booth. And I apply that not only to the coincidence of a UK Parliament election and a Scottish Parliament election, but of course to the forthcoming referendum on AV, something of which there has been absolutely no public hubbub, little comment, and not a single constituent has raised it with me. And of course on AV, let's not imagine we're introducing something that's new. We used to have multi-member STV seats in the Westminster Parliament. The last general election where that was the case was 1945. And we saw the ludicrous situation of Graham Kerr, a Conservative who received 1,361 votes in the first ballot, in an overall vote of 32,786, nonetheless, with 4.15% of the first preference votes getting elected on the second ballot. Maybe the Conservatives will be supporting the AV referendum after all, because it certainly can lead to results. But we need debate, and we can only do that if there's time for it. Presiding Officer, it's a great pleasure to be here to speak on this. I, of course, will be supporting the unanimity that I expect to see at 5 o'clock, and I hope everyone else does so as well.